Hi. Um, so I wanted to come today and talk to you all about waiting on the Lord. Like, I've already made like one video before about waiting for the Lord, but I want to make another one in like more detail, right? And this in regards to like relationships, okay? My When I speak to people, like I'm speaking to women in particular, because I'm a woman, I can't, sit here and talk about men experiences, because I'm not a man, so I can't, really speak too in depth about it. But a man could listen to this video, but it's mainly for women. So I want to start off with a verse first. It's coming from, this is the King James Version that I'm reading from, and it's from the book of Isaiah. So it comes from Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31, and it says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." I love that verse because, when we talk about like relationships and stuff like that, especially if you're waiting on the Lord, like if the Lord has, told you to wait on a relationship, marriage, right? It gets really hard. It gets really, really, really hard, because sometimes you have to really wait for it, and it takes a long time, and it tarries, and you're just like, Lord, are you hearing me? Like, especially if you're knocking and you're seeking and you're praying about it for it to come, it's hard. And I'm speaking to myself, like I'm speaking to like the ladies and everything like that, but I'm speaking, to myself as well. Like, and even if it's not about relationships, about anything, sometimes it can be hard to wait on the Lord, because your timing is different from his timing. His timing is definitely different from ours, and his way of thinking is differently from from your thinking and your timing. So for example, right, like God has promised me something, right, and now I'm just waiting for it. But what I found in my waiting season is that it's so hard, because and be careful what you ask the Lord for, right? Because I asked the Lord to show me something, and he showed me, and then now that he showed me, I'm like, okay, when is it gonna come to pass, but it hasn't yet, but it will. It's in the works, and I trust God, and I believe in God, and I believe that he's gonna make this thing happen, right? But in regards to relationships, I have learned, like, I'm a virgin, right? And by no way, shape, or form has my walk been roses, easy, or perfect, right? I have, fell into sexual immorality. I have not been pure all the time in my life. I wanted to save myself for my husband. Like, okay, I want to save myself for my husband. But it's like, okay, I had a realization, like, okay, well, I was watching something on YouTube, and I was like, okay, am I saving it for my husband, or I'm saving it because God has called me to be pure and has called me to walk a certain way, Like, what if I never get married? Like, what if that wasn't in the plans for me to get married? Then what? Like, am I going to like lose sight of that? You know what I'm saying? So, you have to understand, like, for me, like, my brother asked me, oh, won't you get with, you're gonna get with somebody, you're gonna get married, or you're gonna have sex. And I told him no. And the reason why I told him no was because I said, listen, if I don't get married, then I'm not gonna have sex. Like, that's just what it is, Like I said, like, my walk hasn't been perfect, but I'm not having sex until I have a ring on my finger. And I'm not talking about engaged. I'm talking about like married with the pastor, official papers, all that. Like, I'm not doing it until I get married. And now, it wasn't always like that. Like, it wasn't always like that. My way of thinking wasn't always like that. I just, I was what do you call that? A slow boss. What do you call that? What do you call that when you move slow? A late bloomer. I was always a late bloomer, right? For my friends and everything. Like, my friends, they will all have boyfriends and they was having sex and all that stuff. And me, I wasn't. Like, first of all, my mom did not play those games. Like, my mom did not play those games at all. Like, she put the fear in God in us about sex and not having sex before you turn 18 and things like that, finish high school, all that stuff. And then as I got older, once I got older, I was like, okay, I can make decisions for myself. But like, and this is how I know God has always had his hand on me when it comes to sex and when it comes to men. I always knew that God always protected me, because every man, I'm saying every man like it's a lot, it's not a lot, but like every man that I would talk to or date or whatever, and this is before I was saved, I would like, okay, like I'm going to have sex with this person, I'm going to have sex with that person, like maybe in the next year or 2 months or whatever the timeline was. Every moment before I was going to have sex with this person, something happened and God showed me, no, this is not the one. I remember one time I was laying up with this guy. This was before I was saved. I was laid up with this guy, and I was gonna have sex with him. I was like, I don't know how old I was. Like, I was younger than 21. I wasn't even 21 at the time. And I heard an audible voice that wasn't my voice, and it wasn't the guy's voice. It was right here in my ear, and the voice literally said, "He's not the one." And I looked up and I was like, "Did you hear that?" And the guy was like, "No, he's talking about." And I was like, okay, like let's stop, So it was that there was so many instances, and even after I got saved, right, there was a time period where I slipped away, and yeah, there was a time period that I slipped away from the Lord, and even in that time, I knew I wasn't supposed to be with that person, and I knew that that person was getting access from me the way that he wasn't supposed to get access from me, right? And I feel like God has always protected me in that sense, and always show me a way out. Like, when they say you have to flee from sexual immorality, that's true. Like, flee from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, God will always give you a way out of sin. Always. You just gotta take it. You have to recognize it. You have to take it. And you have to run. You literally have to flee. So where am I going with this? So yeah. And then, like, I want to say that for the women out there that has never been in a relationship, I have never been in a relationship. That's a lie. I was in a relationship for like 2 days, and then they broke it off with me, and they're just like, nah, that's not it. I'm not for you. You're not for me, whatever. So I was in it for like 2 days, But I have never been in a committed relationship where it was like a long-lasting relationship, right? And I thought I was so alone. Like, I thought something was wrong with me. I was like, what's going on? Like, something has to be wrong, because all my friends are in a relationship. Everybody's in a relationship, not me. Like, what's going on? And I was dating people, but every time I would date a person, the Lord would show me one way or another that that person wasn't the one for me. Whether I always prayed, God, show me that this person is not the one for me. Or if he is the one for me, let me know. That kind of thing. And God has always showed me, okay, he's not the one for you. Whether it was like an hour later, 2 days later, whatever, God has always shown me that this person is not the one for me. And I'm so grateful and thankful for that. But I also want to know this. I also want to say this. I know that that person is not the one for me, even before I say that prayer. I know that this man is not for me, even before I get down on my knees and I pray. I know that. So it's like, who who is good for you and who you know who's not, you know. And then I want to say sometimes you do get a little blinded, you know, but for the most part, you know. You ladies, we know who's for us and who's not for us, but we just try to make a little wiggle room, you know, and say, oh, this could happen, that could happen. No. So yeah, and I thought I was missing out for the longest, you know. I'm just like, crap, like I've never been in a relationship and I want love and I want to be in love. Like, okay, I know people say, they're like, oh, Jesus, like I've heard, first of all, I heard people say like Daddy God and like Jesus is my boyfriend and like that kind of thing, or Jesus is my husband. That kind of stuff never like resonated with me, so I won't say that to that extent. But what I would say is I'm focused on God, you know, like I'm focused on God, right? Focus on Jesus, right? Focus on yourself. Like, you have to love yourself, you have to like yourself, and if you don't know how to do that, ask the Lord to show you, because you're no good to yourself and somebody else if you don't know how to love yourself. You know what I'm saying? So love yourself. Like, love yourself without makeup. You know, I was gonna, like, before when I started making YouTube videos, I was like, oh, I want to put makeup on and this and that, because, you know, I want to be presentable, you know. But I'm like, I'm fine. Like, girl, you're fine. Like, you're home, you're relaxing, whatever. You want to put the camera on, make a video, that's fine. Like, I want to be authentically myself, right? You have to love yourself as you are. Like, I don't have any makeup on right now, my hair is not done, but like, I want to be authentically who I am. So self-love is very important. You know, you can love on yourself, you can love on God, allow God to love on you, you know, do all the things. Community, like being in community is so important. Being in friendships are so important, whether they're platonic male friendships or women friendships or whatever. Being in community is so important. Having discipleship is so important. Like, I have a discipler. She's actually my great aunt. She's my discipler. And am I saying that right? I'm getting discipled by her. Yeah. I'm getting discipled by her. I have friend groups, you know what I mean? I have strong relationships, you know. So it's important to get in community, to do things. You like, especially if you're in your waiting season. And like, and then I look on TikTok and I see people on TikTok and they're saying that they never been in a relationship before. And they're like older than me. I'm 30 years old. I just turned 30. And they'll say they've never been in a relationship before, or they never had sex before, or they never been on a date before, or they never had a first kiss, or things like that. And they're craving these things, you know. And people are in the comments sometimes like eating them up, like saying you need to love on yourself and do this and do that. But necessarily doesn't mean that all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people have a hard time finding love these days. Even if you do the self-work, even if you do everything that the Lord instructing you to do, even if you don't believe in God or you believe in Jesus and whatever, like, even when you do everything you're supposed to be doing, get a career, love on your family, love on your friends, be in community, go to church, serving God, volunteering, giving back, doing all the things, right? But you still crave that love and you still crave that affection from a person. That's okay. Like, that's okay. Just because you crave love from the opposite sex doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like, and like for me, right? Like, I go to church. I have a community that I can call if I need it. I have friends that I can call. I have people, my aunt who disciples me. I have a pastor that I can pick up the phone and call. You know what I mean? I have a loving family. Me and my mother were tight. Me and my dad were cool. You know, I have a brother. I have sisters. I have a dog. I have a life. I have, you know, hobbies. I skate. I cook. You know, I'm helping my sister with her garden. Like, I'm busy. I'm in school, you know. So it's not that you're not doing anything, just sitting around waiting for love to come. And I'm not saying that, like, you're not being fulfilled, and you're not doing things. You're not sitting around like a lump on the log. You know what I mean? Like, you're actually putting in the work. And all those things do come to play, right? And they do satisfy you in a way, right? And you do have some type of fulfillment in a way, right? But you still want that love, and you still want that affection. Like, you still want, like, for women, like, you still crave that man, right? Because you want that type of love. And there's nothing wrong with that type of love. There's nothing wrong with wanting that type of love, you know? Nothing wrong with that. So I want to get that out the way. There's nothing wrong with wanting that type of love. Nothing. And you have Jesus, right? And Jesus loves on you, and God loves on you. You know what I mean? And even if you think, and I don't know how true this is, I'm gonna open up my Bible and read it, and then I'll get back to you. But I know how some people say they're called to a single season, right? Like Paul said that he wished everyone could be single, you know. And then sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I see what some people go in their marriage or their relationship period. I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm happy I'm single, right? Because I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to go through that. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, going through that, sometimes it's like going through certain things with relationships, you have to die to yourself. You literally have to die to yourself, and you literally have to, like, put yourself last and put that other person first, especially if you're married, right? And that could be a hard thing sometimes. So sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm happy being single right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are amazing. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You know, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with craving love, you know? And I want to say that I feel like I was trying to get love from different people. Hold on, let me figure out what I'm trying to say. My mind just went blank. There's nothing wrong with wanting love, but sometimes you get like, sometimes God protects you. I think in my circumstances, I think that the Lord blocks certain things from me. And there's certain things that I wasn't supposed to experience. And I wasn't supposed to experience it. I was supposed to experience it in marriage, and experience and wait for him to wait for him so I can have those experiences. But I didn't wait for the Lord for a lot of things. And like, wait for the Lord, you know what I'm saying? But again, with your free will, because people have free will, right? With your free will, you can be delayed, you know, not denied, but delayed, right? So I felt, okay, with your free will, you can be delayed. And I really feel like that. I really feel like certain things you weren't supposed to experience because God didn't want those things for you. He didn't want you to go through that hurt. He didn't want you to go through that pain. He didn't want you to go through that confusion and all that stuff, right? Like, certain things, you know, you're supposed to only experience in marriage and wait, and certain things you're not supposed to experience. Like, I remember that. Like, and I just had this epiphany the other day when I was driving, that, like, I wasn't supposed to experience certain type of hurt if I would have waited on the Lord. If I would have waited on the Lord to tell me, okay, this man is your husband, or knowing that he promised me marriage, then I would have never experienced that. Like, I wasn't supposed to experience the type of hurt that I felt with past guys. You know what I mean? I wasn't supposed to experience that because I feel like I was hidden in the Lord. And I still feel like I'm hidden in the Lord. I feel like I am hidden in the Lord. Certain people walk past me and don't even recognize me, don't even see me. You know what I'm saying? And if I do get seen, it's the wrong type of, you know, attention. You know, but I really feel like God is hiding me on purpose. even when I try to go out there and get it, like even when I try to go out there and get love and try out there and go and get things for myself and experience things for myself, the Lord's like, no. Literally, God stops so much. And it's sometimes I get so upset because I'm like, God, like I want to experience this, like I want to do this thing, you know. And I'm not even talking about relationships, but it's like, God, I want to do this thing, like I want to do it, like let me do it, you know what I mean? And God's like, no, this is not. And like I can have everything planned out. Okay, I'm gonna take train A to get to C, you know what I mean? And something happens in between A and C, B doesn't happen, you know. So God has stopped me in my tracks from having a broken heart a lot of times and a lot of disappointment, you know. So I didn't expect this video to be that long, but wait on the Lord and it's gonna happen. It's going to happen. If you don't know if you're promised to marriage, and I don't know if that's true or not. See, I don't want to put stuff out there I don't know if it's true. So I'll make another video. Like I said, I'm gonna go read my Bible, I'm gonna do some study on that, and then I'm gonna come back. And I'm gonna let the Holy Spirit talk to me during the week in a couple of days. And then when the Lord tells me, okay, I can make a video about it, I'll make a video about it and I'll explain it in more detail. Because I've heard different people say, oh, you're called to marriage. Some people are not called to marriage. I don't know. Okay? I know that God promised me marriage, you know, but I don't know how true, like, that kind of stuff is. But keep your eyes on the Lord. If you want to know if you're called to marriage, if you want to know if you're going to get married or whatever, ask the Lord. Ask him. Ask the Lord to show you. God, show me this. God, show me that. There's nothing wrong. When he say knock and seek, it's fine. Knock and that door is going to be open for you. Seek and you will find. It's okay. Like, now I believe in this. God is a girl dad. God is a girl dad. Like, Jesus came down. When Jesus came and he spoke to the lady at the well and he was telling her everything, you know what I mean? Or when Lazarus died and Mary went to him and Martha and everything like that, and they were talking about it or whatever, like, Jesus went, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like God is a girl's dad. I really truly believe that. I think that God holds men to a certain height versus women. Like, you know, with men, they gotta go up to the mountain. They gotta do a lot to get to God. You know, with I feel like with women, he got you. You know, like not saying that he's not saying that he doesn't have men, but what I'm saying is God is really gentle with women. I don't know. I just can say it for myself. God is really gentle with me. He's really, 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 really gentle with me. And he's really, really patient with me too. Because listen, God is patient with me. So, anyways, stay blessed. Keep your eyes on God. Stay prayed up. Stay encouraged. If you don't know God, if you don't know Jesus, get to know him. And yeah, stay encouraged. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to be loved, wanting to be in love with the man. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong. Just don't idolize it. You know, and if you feel yourself idolizing it, take it down a notch and give it to God. If you feel yourself idolizing marriage or idolizing a man before God, take it down a notch and give it to the Lord. Because God is a jealous God. And you don't want him to take it away from you or whatever. You know, you don't want to put anything before God. Because what happens if you get married and God takes that man away from you, God forbid? Then what? You're going to stop believing in God? Or, like, you know what I mean? So, keep God first. And everything's going to be fine. So, there's nothing wrong with you, girl, with wanting love. And girls are such lover girls, you know? Like, we're just in our feelings. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved, wanting to be in love. There's nothing wrong with that. So, just that's a little reassurance. There's nothing wrong with that. So, All right, bye.